Just a quick reminder that you can check us out every week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. You can also join our Discord or Reddit page at r/SplitViewPodcast. Links are all on our YouTube channel.
Welcome to Flick View.
How's it going, people? We've watched another movie for you.
Have we?
Yep. When are we going to stop making that joke? Did we see this movie?
You're saying when are we going to... You're the one that fucking makes the joke every time.
You just said it this time.
I didn't.
You're like,
you did the joke. Yeah, but you started it.
Was that not what you meant?
No, fuck you. Okay, what did we watch?
Okay, we watched Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
And this was somewhat based on my girlfriend's
I was going to say
recommendation because she told me we were watching Yes Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, why does Jim Carrey play one character? And she was like, well, he doesn't, have you seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Turns out she hadn't seen it either, but she had heard a lot about it. And I was like, well, no, of course, because I've only seen The Grinch that he's starred in, which is one of my favorite movies. But, all I see him is playing as Goofy, Ace Ventura. He's a goofball, And so, we like movies that make you think. Yeah, of course, that's the whole point of this, so we watched it.
This movie's kind of incredible, because I don't even see Jim Carrey in this movie. I just see, a good...
It's true.
Sad actor,
He plays it very well. And, I mean, to be fair, he is insane now. So
he's an asshole now.
Yeah.
He did I fucking forget the name. He did a biopic of a guy that's been dead for a while, and he played the character very method like he got
Did
into
you
the
say a biopic?
Yeah.
A biopic?
Biopic.
It is not a biopic.
Biography picture. Biopic.
Biopic.
What is wrong with you?
Lots of things. Continue.
That's not what... Biopic.
Continue.
Biography picture. No, Jordan, we're going to hang on this, because...
Biopic is what I've never heard biopic in my life.
I've heard it. I've heard it in a lot of YouTube videos.
To me, that's the equivalent of someone calling it a JPEG.
What?
Or a fucking... a pung.
Because it's a picture as in a movie. And then biography.
It would make sense your way, but I've never heard it like that before.
Okay,
This is not what people want to listen to. We never talk about the fucking movie on this show. Let's continue.
Also, hello, viewer.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey played a movie where... Well, he played a character in a biography, right? And he got into the character, on set, he would be referred to as the character and all that. And... he fucking pretended to be the character to someone's widow. It was like, oh, it's me, it's me. He channeled the essence of the person to the fucking grieving widow.
That's a bit fucking dicey.
Or parents or whatever. And he's fucking asshole. And he didn't even play the character that well. He fucking overemphasized it and all that. But yeah, in this movie, he's actually fucking fantastic.
I'll say.
I don't even see him as Jim Carrey. It's actually kind of incredible. He's just a great actor in this movie, and he's not wacky. He plays the character great. When I saw him in this movie, he had a beard. I've never seen Jim Carrey with a beard. I didn't see Jim Carrey. I didn't.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah.
And this movie, of course, which is the reason we wouldn't have watched it if it didn't have this kind of cool, a bit of a concept that makes you think a bit.
Yeah.
The concept in question for this movie is there is a service which you can pay for, which if you've had a troubling memory of a person, mostly I believe
maybe a pet
do.
died or relationship kind of thing.
You can have all memories of that particular thing erased from your brain.
Yeah.
So in the case of this movie, a girl that Jim Carrey in the movie had dated decided that she didn't want to remember him after a breakup.
Yeah.
And, as the movie progresses, he finds out that this is what happened, and then he chooses to do the same thing to her. He decides to get rid of her.
And then he regrets it.
And then he regrets it. And that is the storyline of our movie as they try to fight the wiping.
It's very temporally abhorrent. It's kind of floating around. The beginning is the end and all that. And
you're going to need to pay some attention when you watch this movie for sure.
Yeah. Even then, you don't really need... You'll be confused, but it's
it
not
makes sense
terrible.
in the end. Like, yeah, they do explain it, and it's not like they leave you hanging like an artistic film where it's like, well, do you get it or do you not? It's up to you, dude. Think about it. It has a very good ending, I would say. It closes it out well.
Yeah, this movie kind of disturbs me because I don't like the concept of like brain wiping and all that and memory deletion because it frightens me. Like, you wouldn't know if your memory was deleted. We could have the technology now. You could have had your memory wiped right now and you wouldn't know.
Yeah, see, people who have listened to us for a while will know that my memory is not great. So I've actually had rabbit hole moments where I've thought about this.
Okay, memory hole kind of shit.
Yeah, like, because it seems so strange to me that everyone else can remember so much and I can't.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, I guess. Maybe I am in this movie. Maybe I'm the star.
Do you think you're gonna have Alzheimer's? Is that kind of a grim thing to ask? Or dementia or something?
Quite possibly. I mean, you know,
we'll have to
these
die
things.
eventually.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen, but
yeah,
you know, I just try not to think about it that much because why would I?
That's
not fun.
It's kind of in lieu of this movie. Like, this movie did kind of present these things to me, and this kind of feeling of darkness and like frightness. Like, would you? Okay, here's the question. I guess if we're talking about this movie, would you ever have this service done?
The funny thing is that because my memory's so bad, I wouldn't need to.
Well, yeah, but if I were, you've had bad relationships and all that.
But see, I remember them, but I don't really think of them badly. It's led me to now.
Yeah, well,
but if I had something that was truly, I've had things which are truly terrible, which have happened to me, and I'm thinking to myself whether I would erase these things that I will probably never say on this podcast, and it's in a way I would like to, but in another way I kind of think that that's what helps you grow as a person.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, I've grown up with like an abusive dad and all that, and like I have memories of my family being abused and all that, and I would never erase that since it's what makes me.
It's another plate of armor on you.
Yeah, it's something that drives me in what I do and everything, and it's like I wouldn't want to erase that. And I would never want it. Maybe it won't change who I am now, but I think it's important to remember those kind of dark experiences and all that.
Yeah, for sure. And this is not the case for everyone, because for a lot of people, when you would have a terrible breakup, you would want to erase it.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting the way that this movie paints it, is that like it's something that if you did do it, you can be happier again afterwards, you know, because you can quite literally be blissfully ignorant of an entire year or two of your life.
Do you think if this was a real service, do you think people would use it? Like, do you think a lot of people would use it? How many people do you think? Do you think it would be popular?
First of all, I think it would be one of these, like, you wouldn't be able to do this until you were at least like 25 or something, I would say.
I guess be age
once your brain is developed enough to a point where you're able to make the decision to wipe it yourself. But people would use it for sure. People would use it, absolutely. Because I mean, we've had some fucked up stuff happen to us, but there are people who have had it fucking way worse than we have, and there'll be people who will have it way better than we will. But like the people who have it that terribly, I can absolutely see. Like, if you've had a terrible thing happen to you in your childhood, I can absolutely see why you'd want to get rid of that, because it can be hindering you from things like. I have lots of anxiety right now from when I was a kid and I used to like suck at sports and shits, and then like that's transferred to now where I don't like ever playing sports, and it, like, you know, it worked its way into talking to people and making friends. You know, one event can fuck up your whole life if it's bad enough. I'm trying to think of like kind of circumstances where you would want this, and I'm kind of thinking like maybe someone's in like a abusive, like even sexually abusive relationship, and they can't get intimate with a new partner since they have that kind of that disdain for that kind of thing, and I guess that would kind of help with that. But yeah, for sure, that would. You're right. Actually, that's a good example.
I don't know if the government would allow this.
Oh no,
know?
I mean, if someone was to pitch the idea now, there's no way it would fucking gain any traction. Because
fucking dystopian memes and all that shit.
Oh yeah, like it's one of these things where you the idea sounds pretty cool, but first of all, how would you do this? Like,
obviously with an old fucking IBM ThinkPad and old ass
Yeah.
fucking computers and CRT monitors.
while you're getting fucking high and drunk and fucking...
Well, you're having sex on top of a dude.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they had sex on top of him. They were getting freaky
It was
on top
implied
of
that they fucked
him. Yeah.
because they were naked under a sheet or something.
They were dirty dancing on top of him at least, so
There was three people at one point in a room, and they were all like at Jim Carrey's house while they were
Yeah.
wiping his brain, and
eating
they
his food, drinking his beers.
yeah, and this guy was just fucking smoking weed, drinking beer,
Yeah.
like with the secretary who he's
Yeah.
banging. It was just a very strange thing to think about.
It's a strange movie. It really
It
was.
is, yeah. It's and even the name is strange. You know, it's one of these movies where it captures you right from the name.
Yeah.
And it will stick with you for a few days afterwards because it's pretty good. You know what I mean? Makes you think, this one. And that's what we're all about here. Dare I say it, you know?
I guess
And the progression of this movie makes you really think about trying to hold on to memories. Because if you really want to preserve it, you have to keep thinking about it. Because that's...
if you have some sort of emotional connection, you always remember it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I suppose it does shine a bit of a light on that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because the as we mentioned before, the plot of the movie is Jim Carrey's trying to remember
He's trying
Kate
to stop
Winslet,
it.
who was
Yeah.
his girlfriend.
Is that who she was?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
And you know, so he takes her through embarrassing memories and stuff where she shouldn't be to try and
He gets
break
some
the
of his
system.
fucking
and stuff.
childhood erased. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, imagine. I think what was most fucked up for me thinking about this movie is that it could have already happened to all of us.
Yeah.
Like, it could have already happened to me. I wouldn't know, would I? How could I?
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe I got a gold card and I'm pretending not to know about
Maybe,
a certain
dude.
person.
You're just making sure that I'm thinking positively and you're erasing all the bad shit that's happening to
Yeah,
me.
they get these little cards, like these little gold embossed things being like, oh, Jim Carrey elected to forget this. Like, you know,
Yeah.
so that the person knows not to mention them, to act surprised and we're like, oh, what's thing is this, you know, so that the family members aren't like, oh, where's such and such, and they're like, what
Yeah.
Stuff.
There's also those terrifying scenes where they're like, things are being erased halfway through and people have no faces and
Yeah.
like massive eyes or something.
That's fine to me since that's kind of overplayed in horror and all that, but the scenes where like it was weird, like fucking age play kind of shit and like
yeah,
weird
that was
giantess kind of shit was like, ugh. I don't know,
Yeah.
that's kind of some weird.
It was a bit dicey for sure.
Yeah, the VFX director had a lot of fun with that one.
Oh, I'm sure he has
yeah.
some extra saved scenes on his hard drive at home, I'm
Okay.
sure.
Probably.
Yeah. I think because that one concept encapsulates the whole movie. That is the whole movie, is this idea.
Yeah.
There's not much point in us going through the plot because it's more interesting to just watch it
It's a
yourself.
framework for this kind of idea.
Exactly. So
I get that's what movies are in general. It's just a framework for making you
a
think about
medium
something.
to make you think about
Yeah.
something, you know.
Or maybe
a
show you a
guided
viewpoint.
system.
Yeah, show you a viewpoint that you've never thought
For
about
sure, yeah.
someone else's viewpoint.
So I think, well, I mean, would you recommend it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I would too. I would say.
Kind of like a meh recommend for me.
Yeah, it's not like out of all the movies we've reviewed, quote unquote, I wouldn't put this at the top.
Yeah.
But it is one of these ones, you know, if you just feel like thinking about something, just for a little bit.
See it for Jim Carrey, I guess, because he's really good.
If you were like me and you've only known Jim Carrey as a fucking goofball, like, put this movie on and you'll be like, well,
I got to
okay,
show you that Jim Carrey thing after this. I'm gonna
Yeah,
put that
yeah.
in my little document.
he can do a lot more than that, as it would seem. Because even
Yeah.
in Yes Man, he wasn't as goofy. He was still a bit of a funny guy, but not as much. So, you know, it's an interesting look at a character who you've probably seen before.
Yeah.
So, if anything, yeah, I would watch it for a good Jim Carrey performance in a non-goofy role, because you will be quite surprised. It's quite nice. There's not really much else to talk about in regards to this movie. We're mostly just discussing the concept of this movie. So, enjoy the movie if you choose to watch it, and if not, we'll see you next week for our next split view and flick view, respectively.
Alrighty.
Actually, no, it's not the other way. Bye.
Gotcha.